What's up, Nana Nation and love? We back for the 2021. What's up, baby? I got Aaron Chalupa heading north of the city and 5 minutes from my house, but nowhere close to me. Brian Smith. What's up, babies?
Locked down, locked down, locked down.
Still working like a chump.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah,
much.
you. Thank God somebody is.
Yeah, not much of my life has changed. I like being indoors. It's where I'm comfortable. uh, Anthony's a little laggy. What's going on, Anthony?
Guys, am I? I'm sorry. I
Yeah.
just had to. That's why. I didn't. Clause a law, baby.
Do I
All
have to
right.
do I have to pour a drink?
We are back. The hockey season's going to start. We've got the NHL season 2021 about to start in a couple days. It's time we get hometown to HOCKEYTOWN. Let's recap really quickly the World Juniors. Who wants to start?
Let's go with Aaron because he probably watched the most of the World Juniors out of all of us.
I probably watched about 5 games, so yeah, probably.
Yes.
Yes. That's three more games than I watched.
It's about 3 or 4 games in. I found it the most interesting for the one side of the pool, kind of the death group, because you had Sweden with a win and a loss, the United States with a win and a loss, Russia with a win and a loss, and then all of a sudden Czech Republic with a win and a loss. And that seemed very interesting to me. And then, not to mention, Austria had 3 losses, I think, or 2 losses, but one was to Sweden, where the goalie had like 73 saves or some shit. And I was like, oh, okay, well, maybe Sweden will give the Czechs a run for their money or go and relegate. I thought they were going to have relegation play. Like, I know that no team was going to get relegated, but I thought they were going to still have to play. And I was like, ooh, maybe like whoever they play against, whether it's Germany or Switzerland, or Slovakia, that'd be an interesting one if they maybe steal a win or a tie or something like that. Who the fuck knows? But yeah, I thought it was very entertaining. The result of the final game, I can't say it was a complete shock to me, just because the Americans were, I think, an underrated favorite. I'm not even sure if that's possible to really say. Like, people were giving the Russians a lot of hype, but I thought the Americans were a lot stronger than the Russians, and the Americans are always a thorn in the side of the Canadians' back or in their side.
Side.
Yeah, thorn in the side.
Thorn in the side of the back.
In any gold medal game.
Depending how fat you are, it could be both.
Yeah, I've been there.
Sides of the back. the back of the back. But yeah, like, I don't know. There's a lot of entertaining names, very intriguing and very exciting for Canada with how many first rounders were on the team, and then me being an Oilers fan, we got Dylan Holloway playing for Canada. We got Philip Broberg. But yeah, and this is the big thing for me. Always a fan of the Czechs, especially whenever they can steal a game from the Russians or the Americans or whatever. And this year just so happened to be the Russians again, and that was fucking incredible. Amazing game, incredible game. I missed the game, but I was able to watch the shortened recap, or the extended recap, I should say, and just incredible performance by the Czechs. Just a sound defensive game.
I didn't see it.
Good
I'm
recap.
not even gonna cap.
I
Go ahead, Anthony. Let's hear your take.
Thanks, man. I called it early that the U.S. team was going to be in the finals. I didn't think they were going to win, but I thought they were going to be in the finals, only because they're one of those few teams that were pretty cool under pressure. Like, you always saw them messing around, which the Canadian team was pretty strict. Nice. The Canadian team. Oh, I can outdo you, actually. 1 second, sir.
Oh boy. I'll fill. You go get. I'll fill. Yeah, man. We'll jump into the finals after, but like going into the finals. No, phone down.
Phone down.
Wow,
It's an iPhone for you.
Yeah, but going into the finals, like the Americans were red hot going into the finals, and defensively just looked amazing going into the finals. The White
That's
Claw
kind of the
getting poured
saddest-
into it. Just
That's the saddest. A White Claw being
This
poured in
is
the Stanley Cup mug is
2020.
pretty pathetic.
2021 in a mug shot. White Claw going into the Stanley Cup. Let's do this, bros.
all right, you guys enjoy it.
Okay. Least touching the cup. How about that?
Anyways, just to finish my take, I felt like the U.S. team was pretty strong. I thought they had a lot of good personalities, kind of those characters that kind of win games for you. The grinders, the guys who weren't afraid. They played a much better game than Canada did, and Canada seemed to kind of get in their head and not be able to get out. I felt kind of bad for the Canadian team when it was all said and done.
Yeah, it was Canada's tournament to lose.
Correct. As it is every year, too.
Yeah.
No, every year it's Canada's tourney to lose.
I disagree.
So,
Sorry, Brian, go ahead.
jumping, I think we got to jump to that finals game because that finals game, very exciting hockey. I'll say very exciting hockey, very fast paced. If people aren't a fan of hockey, I think that's the type of game that can make people a fan of hockey. Right? Fast pace, some physicality between the teams. And then on top of that, you have, even though it's low scoring, it's still very exciting, which you don't see very often. I mean, there was some points in the second period, especially, that dragged a little bit. But like, you take like the first period and then even just like the final 10, 15 minutes of that third period, and oh my God, what a bookend to a game, right? Like, Canada starting out so strong, looking like they're going to get a goal at any point. Then out of nowhere, the U.S. comes in with one of the best shifts of the tournament, right? Like, the U.S. basically kept Canada in their own end with one line for like 3.5 minutes before their goal. Like, it was pure domination. And the whole time, like, Canada had 3 or 4 opportunities to clear the puck and just couldn't get it out of their end. And the whole time, I'm practically screaming at the TV, just ice the fucking puck! Just ice the puck! Like, you're clearly scrambling so hard on defense. At least if you ice the puck, you can regroup. I don't understand why people hate icing the puck so much, right? Just fucking regroup. Ice the puck. Maybe you win the face-off, and then you can actually do something with it. Love it. But
Brian,
yeah,
I think your take is right. And listen, we can all agree the U.S. played a really good game. Congratulations to Team USA. You better hold on to that trophy because next year we coming for it.
And like, just let's talk about like the Americans' journey to winning the gold. Like, they lost to Russia first game of the tournament, almost get knocked out of the tournament by Finland.
Yeah.
And then they go into that game, Canada heavy favorites. Not taking anything away from the American roster, because they have a very good roster too. But oh my goodness, it's like they just came out flying, and then Canada's just reeling and throwing like everything but the kitchen sink at the Spencer Knight. The third period, what was it, like 18 shots to 2 or something like that?
Oh man, but the quality of the and if you can't get quality shots, at least throw as many shots as you can at the net. Right? I've always said that, so I was happy they were doing that. But at the same time, man, the no-look passes and bullshit that they were trying to do to get the puck into the slot was driving me nuts, man. Driving me absolutely nuts. Like, the amount of times we gave up possession in their end by doing dumb things instead of just being patient with the puck drove me absolutely nuts. Like, there was maybe about midway through the third period, maybe about 11, 12 minutes left, there was a possession where it felt like Canada was on the power play. We, for 2.5 minutes, sat in their end, cycled the puck, got a couple shots on, almost a couple nice rebounds, and then it was face-off. All right? Face-off, we win the face-off, we do the same thing. And then, for some reason, it was like desperation set in, which, fair enough, we're down 2. But when desperation set in, it was, 2 players behind the net forechecking, and then let's throw it blindly backhanded across into the slot and hope that someone's there to get it. Like, it was absolutely horrible.
at that point the gameplay was out the window, and they were just trying to get anything going.
Oh
All right,
yeah,
guys,
for
let's
sure.
move on. World Juniors, I think it was a big success. Edmonton, a
Oh,
good host
ooh,
as always.
one last thing.
Oh,
What do you guys think about the celebration from Team USA? What's your
the
take?
barrel. It's
Whatever.
typical American shit. I'm not surprised by it. I'm not bothered by it. This is just USA, USA. Like I'm not. They have bigger things to worry about. We have bigger things to worry about than their on ice celebration. I'm not worried about that. That doesn't bother me. It's just more fuel next year.
Insubordination
I
and churlish.
I would sincerely hope that no one gives a shit about it. When I read like people like when I read people in group chats and stuff, they're like, it's just disrespectful, man. It's like, but who really fucking cares? It's a barrel. Like it's like the bat flip all over again. It's like, dude,
I
like they won.
Oh,
Let them
God.
fucking celebrate how they want. It's your fault they lost. Just what is this thing with sports about like everything has to be by the rules, even celebrations, everything. Fuck it. If someone wants to celebrate, let them celebrate. They can pay for it. Like Juju in football dancing on the logo and then getting fucking rocked. Absolutely
Firm
rocked for
believer
it.
in karma. Firm
Yeah,
believer in
exactly.
karma.
I really don't think. Go ahead, Ju.
I do recall when I was very, very young and we were watching the gold medal game. You remember Salt Lake City? They had the women's and the men's game, and the women's team were just being called like penalty after penalty and not getting any calls for them. And there was I think Wickenheiser was saying that they had the Canadian flag on the floor of the dressing room. I don't remember if that was confirmed or that was just like urban myth or something like that. And like that one pisses me off. Like that's a very much different symbol. But in this case, yeah, okay, good joke. Like whatever. Like maybe next year, if we win the gold, we'll be like, hey, you guys want to come in for the photo? Like we were thinking about having a garbage can with the American logo on it, but we just figured we'd like invite you guys to come in the photo too, like hang out with our gold medals.
But
But really, like whatever, man. Like chirps are
do you
chirps.
really think it was like a Canada's trash kind of thing? Or I bought what Caulfield, or was it? I can't remember who said it, but it's like, oh, every team was a different barrel. We just had to get past that next game. Like, did you buy that, or did you think that was a little crap?
I mean, I could buy that, but I
For
think
somebody
it's
to go into
stupid.
the hall and then bring it out.
I
Yeah.
agree. I don't think it should have been on the ice, but I didn't think that it was like a sign of disrespect, where it's like, oh, Canada hockey is trash or whatever. I just
Mhm.
I thought it was like one of those mental things where they just need to get past this barrel, like some Donkey Kong shit or something.
Yeah.
Anyways, can we move on, please? Let's get. I know
Yeah,
this is Hockey Town, but the season's about to start. How do you guys feel about this new schedule? 56 games. If they're going to run by pretty quickly, triple headers. Some teams are going to have four straight games, mini series with each other.
Mhm.
How do you guys feel? Chalupa, we'll start with you with it, and then we'll go to Brian, and then I'll give you my put.
How do I feel about what? Sorry.
The new season,
Exactly.
the abbreviated
The new season,
season,
the scheduling.
the
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about everything. I'm most excited about this Canadian division, or what do we call it, the Scotiabank or the Honda or something like that. I don't fucking know. Don't care. Uh, but this Canadian or North division will be very, very interesting. I even think for American fans to kind of keep a close eye to. One thing that was brought up, and like we'll kind of touch on it later, I'm sure. But I wasn't really thinking about it. I was thinking about it to a certain degree of like, trades, that might be kind of a complicated issue, or waivers or free agents or whatever, like down the road. But what happens like trade deadline time? Do the Canadian teams have a big disadvantage because the American teams can kind of swap players around with no real quarantine or anything like that? And the Canadian players, as Canadian teams, if they trade to an American team, it's like, okay, well, like, how's this going to work? But that's all with the idea that, vaccines won't be available to players anytime soon.
I would have to imagine if you're a team at the trade deadline, regardless of what division, you're going to want to get whatever trade done so that player can quarantine if they need to. But it is a really good point of the quarantine issue when it comes to being traded. It makes a lot of sense, especially that border cross.
Mhm.
So I guess it would be better to trade within your division, but it's still going to be tough because you're trading within your division. Of course, unless you're Ottawa and you're at the bottom of the division and you don't give a shit.
Yeah. It's an interesting thing. So when we talk about the season for a few things, one, the back-to-backs that are going to happen, you see teams reloading, and specifically, like, I'm going to talk specifically about Montreal later, but we've added more assets that we didn't even necessarily need just to have extra depth for those reasons, and also potentially COVID depth as well, right? Because you don't know what's going to happen and what you're going to need to field a roster, right? It's not like the NBA where two people catch it and you can still fill in because you have five people that don't play each night. That's not the case, right? The divisional realignment was a little weird to me. I didn't necessarily get why they chose certain teams to be certain ways. Like, we talked about this in the chat a little bit, right? But like, you look at teams like, wait, Dallas is in Central?
Yeah.
Oh,
and it's like, wait,
this is a big topic as well.
Yeah, why is Minnesota not in Central and Dallas in West? Like, literally every West team, with the exception of St. Louis, is pretty much South, like in that Southwest corner, right? Like, they're in like the bottom four states on the left side, pretty much. So why not put Dallas there? Dallas would have to travel less, first off. Like, it just seems unfair to Dallas to throw them in the Central Division, right? Because now they're going to have to travel probably more than most teams in the league, right? Because of where they sit. And the Canadian teams, obviously, were spread out really far too, so we kind of get a raw deal with travel compared to like any team in the West Division, man. Like, the longest travel is Minnesota. Minnesota's kind of fucked too because of it. Like, Minnesota's so far north. If there wasn't a border issue, we might as well just annex them for the season. Hey, Minnesota's a part of Canada right now.
They should have. They definitely should have. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. I didn't get
Buffalo.
Yeah.
Like how close Buffalo is to Toronto, like that would have been very fair in my mind, or even Detroit. But
yeah,
I
didn't
what
get
it is with borders and all that kind of shit. So
whatever. I did not get it. Like, maybe they're trying to hold on to some old rivalries and divisions and keep in like Dallas with what's it called? Like a team like Detroit or something like that in the same division. Maybe they're trying to hold on to that, but like Dallas Detroit hasn't been a rivalry for like 15 years.
Oh,
so
yeah, if not more, yeah.
Yeah. I don't understand why they chose how to do it, but I'm sure there's a lot of people smarter than me that put a lot of thought into it, because it's really, overall, it's a really weird divisional lineup.
Mm-hmm.
Like, everyone in that East Division has to travel like 3 hours. That's it. Like, that East Division is all so packed close together. It's kind of bullshit. It bothers me.
You're not wrong. I think it's a fair argument, but I think for a one-time shot with a shortened season, I don't think too many guys are going to freak out about it. So I'm on board for it overall, but I get it.
Okay, I'm gonna just drag this over so that people can see what we're talking about on a map. Look at where, and I can even share my screen for you guys so that you can see.
This is 2021 technology.
Yeah.
I was like lapping up my beer like 20 minutes ago.
Is it really worth sharing? Nah, not really, but people can at least see what we're talking about. Look how close everyone is here, though. That's nuts to me. All right. Then they get it in the video at least.
There we go. Perfect.
Yeah, man, it's absolutely ridiculous, but
I like the shortened season. I like the quick games. I think the quick turnaround in games is going to be fun, and I enjoy the little mini series that each team or teams will be facing off against each other for, I guess. And maybe kind of build something for the playoffs. I'm on board for it. I like it, and it also kind of gives you like each division kind of is their own little mini league, and they're going to meet up in Champions League, to make a bad analogy. I like it. I'm on board for
it. I think, given the circumstances, it's a really, like, it's a solution that will work, and that's what matters, because Having hockey is better than not having hockey, regardless who you play.
Totally.
If Montreal had to play Ottawa every fucking game, I wouldn't care as long as there's games. And I definitely wouldn't care because Ottawa sucks.
It's gonna be exciting.
And like, for like baseball fans, it may make more sense too, because like you guys watch what 3, 4, 5 games for a series
A week, yeah.
like
Yeah.
the same team.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't bother me at all either. It's like it just makes sense. It's like, okay, cool, you're in that city. We got COVID happening. Let's save some money because the league is, obviously trying to save money.
Yeah.
Let's just play this team like 4 times, and then they'll play us 4 times, and then I don't know, you figure it out that way. That seems much more simplified than just going, okay, well, we're gonna play Ottawa, then Toronto, and then Montreal one time,
Then Buffalo, and then New York.
and then we're gonna go back, like to Vancouver. So we're gonna stop and play Winnipeg, and we're gonna stop and play Calgary, and stop and play Edmonton. And the guys are gonna be so fucking tired. Might as well just go somewhere, have a rest, chill, practice, hang out, like try to be in your bubble, and then just play 4 or 5 games in a row. No big deal.
And I like the idea of a taxi squad. I think it's going to help out a lot the workload for a lot of these guys. I think it's good. I think the NHL has done a really good job. The PA's done a very good job too to kind of make this pretty. I don't like the wager thing. The wager thing kind of throws me for a loop, but everything else I'm pretty good on.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Like full money is not. They should be paid their full salaries. You should prorate it to a 56 game season. I think that's fair. And the players, the agents, whatever, everyone's in a shitty position. It's not like just the teams are in a bad position. Everyone's in a shitty position.
Yeah.
They should have found some kind of medium. They didn't. The players didn't budge. It's a dick move, but I'm happy with hockey's back.
But do you think there are certain contracts that were signed, say, like in the last month, that were, like, oh, well, the season's going to be shortened, so we're only going to pay you this much anyway? Like Duclair, I think he's making.
That's exactly what we'll talk about it later for sure, but there are some sweetheart deals because of the shortened season. But I'm talking about, Matthews, McDavid, 13 and a half, whatever it is.
I understand. I get what you mean.
Yeah, like, it would be so hard to argue, like, that, hey, contract signed before this season, we're going to prorate it. If you signed, like, in free agency this year, we're not going to prorate your current salary for this season because it's clearly impacted in how you signed. Like, I just don't know how you do that. There's no way that the players agree to that. However, I will say, not really budging that much, it's eventually that'll come back to bite them in the ass, right? Like, this is how it goes. When the players don't budge on something, eventually, like, next time there's collective bargaining, the owners are going to be dicks about it, and then we're all going to suffer for it, realistically. Right.
Let's go into a quick recap of what our team's done. If this is your first time listening to HOCKEYTOWN, I am a Leaf fan. You wouldn't be able to tell by his jersey choice today. Aaron Chalupa is an Oilers fan.
And I'm a Raptors fan.
He's a Raptors fan. Slash American Eagle fan.
Yeah. I'm Team American Eagle.
Well, yeah. And we'll talk about it later. But I am dawning. Let me feel it.
Oh my God! It took a long time to turn that fat body around.
Yeah. Too much beer lately. Hey. Too much beer lately.
Hey, way too much beer. Love you, buddy. All right, Brian. Why don't you recap what the Habs did this offseason?
Finish one of us 3.
Okay, so Montreal obviously moved Domi, and Domi clearly had issues with the locker room and the coaching staff in Montreal. We got Josh Anderson back and signed him for like the same value that we signed Domi. Domi a little bit more proven than Anderson, but if a player doesn't fit and other teams know that that player wants out, it makes it hard to deal them because you're going to constantly get lowballed, right? So, like, the more time I've had to think about the trade, the more time I've had to kind of accept, yeah, I think it could be a good trade. It really depends what we get out of Anderson. Signing Anderson for 7 years is fucking bonkers to me. Like, it's crazy to get an unproven commodity and lock him up for that long. There's potential there, but we don't really know. We don't know what we're going to see. Is he going to be 30 goals for us? Is he going to be a great power forward for us? I have no clue. How does he match up on lines? Right now, it looks like he could be a third liner, like maybe second, but it depends because Armia had a lot of success with Suzuki playing together. So, what do we do? Do we bump Armia down to the third line and put Anderson in the second line? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
I think we
that's
have
the
to.
conflicting thing.
I think we have to do that because when you pay that much for a player, like the people A are going to want to see that player more, and B, there's going to be pressure to play him, right? So I think we end up seeing Anderson on the second line with probably Druin, probably Suzuki, because I think that top line's pretty locked for Montreal, right? Like, I don't know. What else did we do? Let's go through the list of signings here. Since the last time we talked, actually, the interesting bit that I have is Montreal signed Corey Perry.
Yeah, and I didn't see that coming, and I'm kind of shocked by it, but
Yeah.
I like it.
Frolik as well. Since the last time we talked,
he's
that
okay.
was
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
in December. Yeah, but this ties into we signed 2 right wingers, and I'm gonna read you our right wing depth chart right now. Gallagher, Anderson, Armia, Leckerden, Perry, Frolik, and then lots of rookies. So what happens with that? I think it's more once we're talking COVID depth, we're talking back-to-back games depth, right? It's a lot spent on right wingers. So I don't know. We'll see.
But there's some strength in that too, and you're always looking at trade bait. If by chance a lot of that Montreal team gets those sophomore jinx, then you could, Corey Perry can be a very valuable trade commodity if Montreal ends up shitting the bed.
Well, we also moved Toffoli to the left wing now, right?
Oh, interesting.
So because we have Tatar and Druin on the left wing, Toffoli, Byron, so
Lehkonen.
well, yeah, Lekkonen's played both sides, but last year he played. He likes to play both ways, Lekkonen. But last year he played right wing, right? Like we have a lot of average wingers. I think that's what it comes down to. We have a lot of average wingers.
There's no reason why
You're
there's
telling
no reason
me,
why
buddy.
Montreal
Like,
doesn't
look at
finish
Edmonton's
second.
roster.
Dude, just count them. Tatar, Gallagher, Anderson, Druin, Toffoli, Armia, Lekkonen, Perry, Byron, Frolik. That's 10. That's 10, and that doesn't include anyone coming up.
Like the other guys, like Jordan Wheel and Charles Hudon as well.
Yeah. Who like potentially could, if someone gets hurt, they're fourth liners, right? Like you don't know, right? So, but our center depth is ass, and it's like, are we gonna flip like 4 wingers for a center? Like, what's happening here? I don't know.
Make a trade with Edmonton.
Yeah. Signings.
Brian, how would you rate Montreal's offseason though?
I think overall, it's pretty good. You have to factor in that. I think the draft was solid, even just with Caden Gooley. I think the draft is solid. I think you got to see him. Obviously, didn't look great on that 3-minute long shift when he gave up that goal. I don't even remember who on the U.S. got inside position on him, but he let a man get inside position on him, and
probably Zegras or Turcotte.
Yeah, you're gonna give up goals, right? It's gonna happen. So, but overall, he had a strong tournament. He had a very strong tournament, and he played well against strong competition, right? So, I think he's a great addition. We have Romanov coming over. That's another great addition there, right? So even if Gooley, he's gonna be a stud, and even if Gooley may not even break the lineup this year, I don't think he will, to be honest. I think he's.
No, he won't.
I legitimately think he could play limited minutes if we wanted him to, but I just there's no reason to. There's no reason to rush him. Like, we brought in Edmondson, right? Like, we brought in Edmondson. We're getting Romanov, and no one left on the defensive end. We're looking good. I still hate the Jake Allen.
Gooley's only 19.
Yeah.
And he's with Prince Albert in the WHL. I don't see them rushing him.
Yeah, I don't think they rush him either. Well, I don't think they rush him because
he's gonna be incredible. I saw him play last year in the Czech. He's fucking awesome.
Yeah, no, he looks legit. And then like you still have people like Cale Fleury, who we don't know, right? We don't know what Cale Fleury is gonna be, because at times Cale Fleury looks like he could be something, but then most of the time he looks like he's not gonna be anything. So it really depends. The Montreal roster has a lot of maybes and a lot of ifs, and if things pan out, it could be really good. If things don't, it's questionable.
I think that this is a fun time in a young team's lineage. You know, like this, like seeing these guys develop and seeing them make it. Some guys springboard ahead of other guys. It's a fun time to be a Habs fan. I think the team's pretty solid. I think there's a good chance they finish top 3 in the North Division. So it pains me a little to say. A part of me just died when I thought it, but I'm actually looking forward to Montreal's season this year.
Ooh, that's
I know. I feel so dirty right now.
Yeah, half chub just hearing that.
Yeah, exactly. I'll have to. Can you say it again for me? Say it again for me, please.
What he does, just get a recording and play when you and Danielle are a bit more.
So did you tell me? Did you give me a rating like A+? Like where do you put their off season?
Off season, I would love to give it a higher grade, but like the Jake Allen trade really bothers me. Like the Anderson trade is still like, it's a lot of what ifs. So I give their off season maybe like a C+ realistically, because there's things that were decided beforehand. Like Romanov wasn't nothing like it's not this off season. Romanov happened in last season, right? So yeah.
If I may. I think Corey Perry was a great signing for Montreal. I really don't know why Dallas didn't pick him up again. But especially for this Canadian division, where there's going to be a lot of like grit and just chippiness and everything, I think Perry's going to be really good to get underneath the skin of everybody. I'm not sure if you can remember, like obviously this playoffs, the playoffs that just happened here. You really got to see it again and be reminded. But as an Oilers fan, oh my God, Perry was just so fucking annoying in that playoffs. I think in 2016. Oh boy. So yeah. No, he's gonna be great for Montreal. Like him and Gallagher are gonna become best buddies, maybe, and just Gallagher's gonna learn a few veteran tips from him, even though Gallagher's quite the veteran himself. But it's just gonna solidify, and Julian's gonna love Perry. He's just like, haha, an older Brad Marchand that's stronger.
Yeah, we're gonna be a very gritty, very difficult team to play against, and if people like Armia, who have ridiculously good hands, can put up some nice points, like if Armia can have a 20-goal season, something like that, I think we're in a really good spot. It just depends, right? So I'm very high on Armia. I'm very high on Armia from an actual hands perspective, but it really depends. How we get everything to mesh will be interesting more than anything.
And if Petrie has a season like he did in the playoffs, oh my God.
Oh yeah, that contract looked real good too.
Yeah, he had a really good playoffs. All right, let's get to either the Leafs or Edmonton.
Well, I'd like to talk about the Florida Panthers for a little bit, please.
Oh, let's talk about them. Hold on. Let's look at them. No, I'm kidding.
Anthony, I'll let you go since we are in Leafs Nation.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Can I say Leafs Nation, or are we going to get sued later?
As long as we don't say Leafs lunch, I think we're good.
Perfect.
Jeff
O'Neill ate the lunch and the dinner.
He always eats the lunch and
with ketchup on it.
He's the only one that has a lunch dessert. I don't know.
Oh man.
So nothing's changed with the Leafs since the last time we talked. I mean, Joe Thornton's still there, and all those other things happened. I was happy with the signings. I'm happy they got Dermott taken care of. At least only one season, but we'll see what happens next year. I just looked at it. I was shocked with all these contracts. You're looking at three guys that are making over. Hold on, I didn't count it, but I think they signed like 10 guys this offseason, and only three of those guys are making over $1 million. So I think that's pretty incredible. I know that they have cap issues, but to still get quality guys at sweetheart deals, it rarely happens in Toronto. And fine, Joe Thornton at 41, I get it, but it's still Joe Thornton. He's going to play on the top line with Matthews and Marner. This is kind of wacky. Like, it's kind of this really weird science experiment,
Mhm.
and I'm intrigued by it. So if it becomes a bust, which it may or may not, but if it becomes a bust, I'm glad we got to see it. I guess I don't know. I think there's two things I'm really looking forward to: the Joe Thornton experiment to see what happens. I'm also slash curious to what happens with Jason Spezza this season. And then I'm also really curious about the Vesey deal. Like, I'm curious to see what happens with them. And if he becomes this player that he was touted to be that he didn't really become in New York. So I'm curious about that. I do kind of question the Michael Hutchinson signing. Not the fact that they signed him, but
Mhm.
I mean, come on. Like, how many more tenures do you need with this guy? You traded him away. Then he does this roundabout the league. He plays in like 13 different teams, and then you bring him back on a 2-year deal at like, I think 38 or something like that. I can't remember how old he is.
Oh, he's not 38. I think he's like under 35. He's got to be 31 or 32, I think.
Hold on,
He's older. He's older. Hey, but Anthony, may I have you heard of David Perron?
fair.
How many times did he go back to St. Louis? Good lord.
Yeah, yeah. I'm excited for the Leafs. I like the offseason. I mean, other than the Frederick Anderson idea of trading and trying to get somebody else in net, I'm kind of interested to see what happens in this final year of his contract. I think it's like 5.5 on the season, 5.5 on the season, and I'm kind of curious. I'm kind of curious to see if he has I mean, he's been really good for the Leafs since he's come in, and I can't remember too many goalies. Maybe Cujo when he first came in, Eddie Belfour maybe when he came in, but these guys that came in and made immediate change to the goaltending situation. You know, we had like 5 goalies in there that came in and really couldn't do what Anderson's doing. So do they find money for him
Mhm.
next year? I don't know. I don't know. And what does he make? Does he make $8 million next year or next contract? I don't know what he's worth, but he's probably worth around $8 million. So
Anderson?
yeah.
Oof.
Well, I mean, he's at 5 now. I mean, he's not a $6 million goalie.
Yeah.
So, and I'm curious to see what happens there. That's all I'm saying with that. Of course, I really like the Brennan signing. I think that's a big deal. The whole defensive core is going to look different than last year, so I'm pretty excited about that as well.
Mhm.
Cody Ceci is gone, so I'm happy about that. Good luck Pittsburgh with that. I'm sure he'll be fine. I don't know. I didn't think he was that bad. I also didn't think he was that good, but let me just see if I can pull up what I was looking at. But
I mean,
yeah, I'm on board. I give the Leafs probably a B+ on their offseason. I think it was a good offseason. They addressed some things that they wanted. They wanted to become harder to play against. Simmons is going to give that to you. Thornton's going to give that to you. I'm curious. I'm very curious about the season, and I'm going into it very optimistic. Not like every other year where I was just like a Leaf fan that's drinking the Kool-Aid. I go in thinking that they have a pretty decent shot in the division that they're in, and they don't have to deal with Boston, so I'm happy about that. Even though Boston's kind of in this weird spot, anyways.
Yeah. My thoughts on Toronto. They definitely have had some very interesting acquisitions over the summer, or over the off season, over this fall and winter.
yeah.
The Thornton deal was rather surprising to me, because they have Jason Spezza, who I'm not going to say that they're the exact same player. Like, Thornton to me is much more of a quality Hall of Fame guy than Spezza. Spezza's, I don't think he's Hall of Fame, but he's also very talented. But
He's an elite player.
they bring the same thing at this age, right? They're both sound passers. They can both score. They're both physical. Thornton more so than Spezza, and they're good at the face-off. and
Yeah.
more so defensively now in their age. And they bring a lot of veteran leadership, and Spezza has a much better laugh.
Oh, well, better laugh. At
Being
least Thornton can grow
sarcastic.
facial hair.
Significantly more. But yeah, like again, like Corey Perry with Montreal, Thornton with Toronto. Like this is more grit for Canadian division. Like when Toronto got Wayne Simmons, that was very early in the off season with free agents. But now they realized, okay, this is like a Canadian division. We're going to be playing the same team like more than 6 times. You're gonna be getting really like rotating the roster. Okay, this is the gritty night. Okay, this is we're gonna like break them down and really go fast at them and everything. So, and then when you're saying that Thornton might be, kind of the odd person out with Marner and Matthews or whoever his line mates might be in the top six, I don't know it was a different time, but you had Bob Probert play with Yzerman. You had Semenko play with Gretzky and Curry. Like there are some guys that sometimes it's good to have that odd person.
You had
because
Chi-Chu
you
play
want
with Thornton.
exactly. Sometimes
Unlikely bedfellows. That's really what it is.
sometimes you just need that, like, because how many times have you heard it from certain players? It's like, no, I want, like Datsuk telling Babcock, it's like you keep giving me players that also want to carry the puck. No, I want the puck. Give me somebody that doesn't want the puck so much. Give me somebody that can feed me. Thornton can feed Matthews. Thornton can
Totally.
feed Marner. Like
I mean, but that's Marner's
he's the
gig.
best passer since the lockout, the big lockout.
But isn't that Marner's deal though? Isn't Marner the puck possession guy and also the passer guy? Like he's a pass first guy. So is Matthews just gonna get like 600 goals this season? Like is he gonna hit 55 goals? I don't know.
But the thing
Well,
is,
maybe as the
Matthews has
pass-
great vision too, right? Like he has great vision. He understands where to be. So like, they're very versatile between the two of them.
Hutch is 30 for the record.
Okay.
Oh wow. Much younger than 38.
And I said Brennan, but I meant Brody, obviously.
Yeah. No, fair enough. So
Yeah.
outside of Brody, I'm gonna read a list of. I had just queued up a quick list of 7 Toronto guys that were brought in for less than 1.5 million average annual value on 1-year contracts. Simmons, Thornton, Ledinen, Bogosian, Dell. I'm gonna Barabanov or Barbanov. I don't know if that A is pronounced. I don't even know who the hell that is.
Yeah.
And then Vesey.
Vesey, did you say Boyd?
No, I didn't say Boyd. I don't have him on my list yet. I was just creating this
Boyd.
list right now. So that's
Yeah,
Boyd
Boyd
would be
as well.
8. Boyd would be 8.
Yeah. Did you say Anderson?
Anderson? No, I didn't say Anderson.
Okay.
Are you listening?
Dude, that's a lot of small 1-year bet on some depth for this year contracts. Once again, we're like kind of seeing the same thing that Montreal did. You're bringing in people that, hey, maybe Bogosian, we've seen sometimes he could be very valuable. Not in a while, but you never know. Could turn around.
He's not playing every game. I'm gonna call. He's probably playing 30 games all season.
Hey, and
probably
that's
like half the season.
And that's fine, right?
Yeah. I mean, we talked about this in the good bad in Toronto. Is in a injury situation, do you want Martin Mernson or Zach Bogosian?
Absolutely.
Who are you taking? Obviously, you're taking Bogosian. Obviously. So
sorry to interject as well. There's one note that I had made that I'm just checking. That I never talked about with Montreal. Cole Caulfield. He had a pretty friggin' good tournament, man.
He could play this year.
He could break the lineup this season. But once again, we have 50 wingers, so
let's move on. I want to get through this pretty quickly, Aaron. If you can go Oiler time.
Well, my opinion with
I think Aaron.
Well, and that's all the time, guys. Thanks a lot.
Oilers.
This
has been Hockeytown.
The Oilers. A few things have changed since our last discussion on Hockeytown with new acquisitions and everything. Obviously Tyson Barrie, huge. Dylan Holloway, incredible World Juniors. He was so versatile. He was effective everywhere he went, up and down that lineup. He probably could have played goalie if they wanted him, but I guess they just wanted him somewhere else. But yeah, Tyson Barrie, very excited about him. I think and I was thinking about this pretty long and hard over the last few days, but I really think that Puljujärvi is going to be my like really exciting player to watch this year. Like it's going to be like because like Barry's on a 1 year deal. Chances are he won't re-sign with us anyway. Like if he has a good year or a bad year. But Puljujärvi, we have him for 2 years, I'm pretty sure, and it'll be very exciting to see how he does. He's bigger, he's stronger, he's more mature. He changed his number. The boys are really excited to have him. Darnell Nurse said like he couldn't believe how big Puljujärvi is coming from Darnell Nurse. That's pretty impressive. And the boys would just welcome him back to the locker room. So I'm really excited to see how Puljujärvi does.
He's gonna mesh really well with Kyle Turris.
That's been the big talk. There's been a lot of talk apparently. Kyle Turris, I see Puljujärvi kind of being a Kyle Turris type. If Puljujärvi could become a 40-point player for the rest of his career and play in the top six and be an excellent, sound two-way forward, shut down, and then complementary offensive, that's incredible. That's
for
huge.
A little over $1 million a year. That's a bargain.
The price would go up in
well
time,
over the next 2 years. Even if he can do that the next 2 years, like that's a huge bargain.
Absolutely. So I'm very, very intrigued with him. Brian, I was touching on it before. If you want to talk an abundance of wingers and forwards, look besides Montreal, look no further than Edmonton. Let me read some to you here. And like all these guys, pretty much the same quality in my opinion. Let's go with centers first. We got, besides obviously Draisaitl and McDavid, we got Gaetan Haas. Pardon me. Kyle Turris, Tyler Benson, who could crack the lineup, Tyler Ennis, Jujhar Khaira, James Neal, Nugent Hopkins, Joachim Nygaard, Josh Archibald, who played very well last year, Alex Chiasson, Seth Griffith, Zach Kassian, or Cassian. If I've been hearing that, I'm like, fuck, it's Cassian, whatever. Puljujärvi, Patrick Russell, Kyle Yamamoto. All these guys have played NHL games in like the previous season, and it's such a cluster. I'm like, well, so many of those guys, like they could play in the top six, or they could play. Cassian could be a first liner. Cassian could be a fourth liner.
Yeah, you don't know.
Could be a first liner or a top power play unit guy. Like these guys are freaking slotted everywhere. James Neal, same thing. Like incredible. Like the real deal, James Neal could be a fourth line player right now. So it is.
He definitely played like one last season.
Well,
shots fired.
19 goals. 19 goals, Anthony. Fourth liner.
Yeah.
Well, sorry. Let me take a look at the stats here. See how many Leafs had more than 19 goals.
Yeah,
go for it. Tell me how it goes.
I'll try. I'll try my math here.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah, okay, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Zach Hyman only had 16. Kapanen, he's not on the team anymore. He's in Pittsburgh. Kerfoot had the same. Oh, sorry, that's assists. My bad. Kerfoot only had 9 goals. Yeah, there we go.
Kerfoot's going to be our fourth liner.
Mitch Marner only had 16 goals. Ooh.
How many points did he have?
Oh, 67. That's a different thing. Okay. We're talking about goals.
Let me ask you this. What do you think it's a good idea that Edmonton signed Mike Smith again?
I don't think it's the best idea, but I don't think it's the worst idea.
$2 million deal, 38-year-old goalie.
We could have ended up with Mike Hutchinson.
Oh, yeah. You guys could have went for Aaron Dell as well.
Aaron Dell even, too, yeah.
Yeah, both those guys are getting almost no playing time. Not the same thing.
We should have went for Jake Allen.
There you go. There's a close comparison.
To be honest,
although Jake
I was just thinking
he might have a good season.
I was just thinking.
Absolutely fair. I would actually like Jake Allen.
I was just thinking, this season more than ever could be important to have a good backup. If you're playing a very condensed schedule, you're going to want to get your goalie a lot of rest.
No,
sorry.
Your third string goalie should be good.
And like, how many times are these teams going to be able to monitor these goalies and like pick apart their game when they're playing against each other? So it is going to be like a baseball series where it's like, oh, let's throw this pitcher in, let's throw a pitcher in.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a closer. Let's use him as an opener right now.
Where do you put their off season? Edmonton's off season.
I would give him an A-.
Yeah.
I was very impressed with Holland. He did such a great job. Like, it sucks to lose Athanasiu when we gave those 2 second rounders away. But to qualify him would have been close to 3.5 million. With that 3.5 million, we were able to use a lot of that money for Tyson Berry and Kyle Turris. Like, that was, or look at it this way: Jesse Puljujärvi and Kyle Turris for 3.5 million. I'm pretty happy with that. I'd rather have that than Athanasiu. And Athanasiu later on signed with LA for 1.1 mil. So that was a good recovery. Mike Smith, like whatever. He had spurts. Last year he wasn't horrible. He had a lot of wins. He had, I think it was 19 games in a row. He was able to accumulate 1 point for the standings. So that's not bad at all in a row. And then like getting Barry was great. Cahoon, didn't mention him because that was more recent since our last recording. I was very impressed with that signing, and it'll be interesting to see if him and Draisaitl do pair up well. They had some chemistry back when they were teenagers. But yeah, like there were really sound signings. Like Anton Forsberg is the third string goalie. He might even be the backup. There's been a few articles written on that. So it is exciting and it is intriguing to see how this will come. Since in the most recent weeks, we've had Slater Cuckoo signed as a depth defenseman, which will be coming very, very handy, as we talked before, like with these long road trips or series plays. And then also, what was the other guy's name? He came from Anaheim. Oh, the name's escaping me right now. Devin Shore. He's a bottom six guy, but he apparently played on the top line with Getzlaff and Perry for a little bit.
Nick
So
Shore?
No, Devin Shore.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Pauly Shore.
So Pauly Shore. The Weasel.
Guys, was there any team in the offseason that was... Sorry, Aaron, I didn't mean to cut you off. Did you have anything to add to Edmonton?
No, you did a pretty good job cutting me off there and letting me know that I'm pretty much done talking. But yeah. So A minus. I was very happy with Ken Holland. He's doing a very good job as a GM so far. Nothing, low risk, high reward.
Yeah.
Is there any team out there that kind of impressed you guys with their offseason?
The Chicago Blackhawks. No, I'm kidding. They maybe had the worst offseason, so maybe they're hoping addition through subtraction. Maybe that's what they're hoping.
Horrible luck. Like the whole team's imploding. Like Taves is pissed off that I didn't know we're in a rebuild, and they get rid of Crawford, who signed with New Jersey. I don't know why. He might not be playing this year. I just heard.
Damn.
Yeah, it's a rough year for Chicago. So rough. Kirby Doc, list goes on. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I was surprisingly impressed. I mean, not that this team could get any worse, but I was kind of impressed with what Detroit did in the offseason. They got some nice sweetheart deals, I think, overall. But they seem to always get those guys, those stars are kind of like at the tail end of their career, and they usually get like 4 or 5 more seasons out of those guys. But they locked up Anthony Mantha, which I thought was the most important thing. They gave him a lot of money, like 5.7 on the season. He's got the potential, but he kind of had an off season last year. Big body, like those are the kind of guys you want on your team. Tyler Bertuzzi they locked up as well.
That's a good guy.
Goaltending, like Jimmy Howard has no contract this year. Not that he's a great goaltender anymore, but they locked up Thomas, the
Grice.
goaltender. Grice, thank you.
Thomas the goaltender. Yes,
Grice.
Thomas the train.
Thomas the goaltender.
And they signed Bobby Ryan.
Thomas the goaltender has not seen such bullshit.
They signed Bobby Ryan, which I didn't know he was still in the league, so that's cool.
Mark Stahl.
Great comeback last year.
Yeah.
After he came out of rehab, my God.
Anyways, I thought Detroit had a good offseason. I thought they did a lot. They got like almost $14 million under the salary caps. Sam Gagner, former Toronto Marley and Edmonton Oiler.
Yep, former Toronto Marlborough. No, he played for the Marlies too. Yeah, he was clutch on that team. Finally showed that team how to win.
Oh yeah, that's really good.
The Avalanche obviously had a great offseason because
They're a
they're the
fucking
Avs.
wagon, man.
It's
Fucking wagon.
unbelievable.
Yeah, they're gonna be a good
I'm
team.
trading in my Habs jersey just so I can finally win. I can win a cup.
How
First
about
one
those
since
retro
'93.
jersey? the Nordique slash Avalanche retro
It
jersey. That
looks
is no, it looks awesome.
It
it
looks
looks
good.
great.
It
It
looks
looks
great.
great, but it's such a dick move. Same with Carolina going to Hartford. It's like,
What do you mean a
dude,
dick move?
it's a dick move.
It's just
Hey, we're gonna collect all
we're
this
gone
money from a team that's not existent
in that
anymore.
locale. Yeah.
That's their history though. They can do that.
It's part of their franchise, but they're not the Quebec Nordiques. They are the Colorado Avalanche.
Right. So on that note, you tell me the Flames.
So what about what if the Arizona Coyotes all of a sudden had reverse retro that were the Winnipeg Jets?
Well, you obviously couldn't do that because the Jets are still our team again. So
No, because that's part of their franchise, Anthony.
yes, but you can't have a
They're
team.
the Jets
Hold
1.0.
on. This isn't the CFL where two teams can have the same name. You can't do that. Okay. This obviously they don't have that anymore. But they could do a Jets knockoff with the colors. You don't have a point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a dick move.
But look at the Avs
I think it's fine. I
depth
think
chart.
it's awesome. And what's that?
Let's get back onto the actual team.
I just want to point out I like the jersey. I think it's cool.
I just want to point out the fact that they have clearly won the Tyson Berry trade at this point. Very clearly won the Tyson Berry trade at this point.
Although the Leafs did get Callie Rosen back, so if that counts for anything.
No, they just won the trade.
Yeah.
Toronto won the trade, Brian.
Yep.
Sorry,
Toronto won the
I
trade.
didn't know about that.
I didn't know about that
they
either. I'm
got
sorry.
Nazem Kadri. They got Nazem Kadri, and that's it. We'll never speak of it again.
And a third round pick this year.
Oh, do they have? Oh, news to me.
I would like to mention, I think that Ottawa has a pretty bright future. They won't be playing so incredible this year, but through the draft and some decent signings, I think they're going to have a pretty good team. They won't be in the basement next season, but they're on their way to looking pretty good. They could be a dark horse, honestly, like that. I know, Anthony, you want to talk about hot takes. Hot take: Ottawa makes the playoffs.
I got a hot take for you. I got a hot take right here. Listen to this division: Boston, Buffalo, New Jersey, the Islanders, the Rangers, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, Washington. Buffalo wins that division. Buffalo wins that division. Hot take right now.
Actually,
Buffalo wins that division.
Buffalo's not so bad of a pick. Buffalo did a lot this offseason too. They're doing everything they can to get Eichel to be cool.
Washington is old and they're still relevant, but they're on the downward trend. Pittsburgh, you don't know what the fuck you're gonna get. If people are healthy, great. But are people ever healthy there? Not really. The Rangers, Philly.
Rangers are gonna be decent.
Islanders,
be decent.
but
Islanders
decent, right? Buffalo, if they have a good season, could easily compete with these decent teams. Like, there's no, none of those teams says to me, oh, this team's running away with this division. None of those teams.
Another hot take. I'm gonna say Kapanen gets 25 goals in this shortened season.
I
Oh
wouldn't be
shit!
surprised. Kapanen's going to get a ton of goals because he's playing on the top line with Crosby. Yeah, he's going to get a ton of
Pascal
goals.
Dupuis.
Exactly.
The thing with Buffalo and most of the teams in the Metro is going to be goaltending. The longevity of goaltending.
Yep. You need to get that depth. If teams haven't done it already, they need to get that depth. Teams that we touched on it with Chicago. Teams that you think of just missed the mark and aren't looking too hot right now. Anthony?
Ooh.
Sorry, repeat the question.
Teams that suck.
It's one of your questions.
teams that suck this year. What team really shit the bed?
That aren't looking good coming in.
I'm so you guys hit it off the top, but I'm very curious what's going to happen in Florida. Are the Panthers going to do something? I don't know. They pay.
Declare is interesting.
Maybe they think addition through subtraction. Maybe that's what the Panthers think. Maybe getting rid of people like Hoffman to them seems like a win, and getting people like Hornqvist, who clearly had a bloated value. Maybe they think he's gonna save them. No.
Let's get rid of Hoffman, and let's get rid of Kulikov for Hornquist and and Duclair. And then as they trade Hornquist, they realize later on that it doesn't solve their cap issues.
Yeah.
Oh God! Oh no, that was Pittsburgh. That was the other way around. The GM from Pittsburgh, he realized that didn't fit.
Oh yeah.
That was hilarious. It's like, oh, I don't think it does that. Oh wait, no, it does. Yeah,
I love how he had to
you're
be
right.
informed by the
I'm-
media.
I'm also really curious what happens with Vancouver this season. I like some of the changes that they made, but I'm so curious what's going to happen. Like goaltending is they. I mean, they signed Holtby, which is a big move. They have Demko up and coming, but
Yeah.
in this type of season, I don't know. Like, I mean, I don't think Holtby is at that stage of his career where he's ready to give up 20 or 30 games in the season to up and coming star. I don't know if he's at that point of his career. Although, I mean, during Washington's big run, he took the bench a lot of those games. So I think it's gonna be interesting to see what happens there. But I do like what Vancouver did in the offseason.
Holtby took the bench back. They tried to give it to Grubauer in the first
Right.
2 games where they lost to Columbus, and they gave it back to Holtby, and then he fucking ran with the show.
Yeah,
So,
he
yeah.
had to get there. They had to get there somehow, and it was on Grubauer. So
Well, they got
Um,
through the season with Grubauer, and then they won the cup with Holtby. So
yeah,
it's like an Andy Moog and Grant Fuhr situation.
here's a feeling. I get the feeling that the Minnesota Wild are trying to tank hard. I
I was
get
just
that
gonna bring them
feeling.
up. I was just going to bring them up. They trade Luke Kunin away to Nashville, which is like one of their young prospects who looks quite interesting. Like some people might say he's a bust now. But Marcus Johansson's their first line center.
Yeah, yeah. They
That's-
they
and
brought
they-
in
they-
three.
they-
They brought
they
in
let
3
Dubnyk
centers.
go.
Yeah.
Dude,
They let
God.
go Dubnyk to bring in Talbot.
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm sorry, it's not the same goaltender.
Yeah.
Gonna be a
Stahl's
hard one
gone.
to swallow.
Galchenyuk's gone. Koivu,
Do you know
like
Virgin
Koivu's just
Koivu's
leadership
gone,
there.
Stahl is
but-
gone.
Like
Yeah, who knew Koivu was still playing?
yeah. I was like, there was people in Habs threads and forums being like, "Why didn't Montreal make a move for him? The lineage." And I was like, "What are you talking about?"
You can say that for Winnipeg. That's what Winnipeg did this year.
We need a center. It's like, yeah, but we don't need to bring in Koivu.
It's just those people that have Koivu jerseys that they're gonna switch the number on. That's it.
Yeah, like I'm looking at their like top. I'm looking at their top 6. Like besides Joel Eriksson Ek, who's like okay, maybe he's going to be something. Like he hasn't shown anything yet. And then Kirill Kaprizov, like he's the one that everyone's going to be like, ooh, this guy's something. But Marcus Johansson, Kevin Fiala, Zach Parise, and then Matt Zuccarello. It's like no one really gives a shit about those guys anymore.
Nick
This is
Bonino.
like-
Nick Bonino.
Bonino.
Vic Donino. Yeah, I don't know. And they got Victor Rask, like Nico Sturm, like Marcus Foligno. Like I don't know, like Nick Bustad. Like he's still playing, I guess. Ryan Hartman. It's like I love Bill Guerin to death, but he's got a lot of stuff going on here. Like the one saving grace is his defensive core. He has a good defensive core.
Oh my god. So here's what I'm reading as the current depth chart. I'm reading that Johansson's going to play wing on their depth chart currently. Johansson's not even lined up as their top center.
I heard that he was going to be the top center. So who's the top center now?
Well, if you were to guess,
Bonino?
or
Eriksson Ek?
who knows? Who knows? Because it could be anyone.
Cam Talbot?
Cam Talbot's playing center, guys. That's why we brought him in. Oh.
Can we go back to the divisions for a sec?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess.
Seeing that all of our teams are doing a once in a lifetime. Hopefully, I hope they do this actually with fans in the stand. Wow.
Stands in the fans.
Stands
I
in
want
the
a stand in my
fans.
fan.
But where do you think your team will finish in the North?
I also want to say Arizona looks like a fucking tire fire, but yeah. Anyway.
Where will my team finish in the North? I don't. There's so many variables. Like I don't know what Edmonton looks like. I don't know what Calgary looks like. I don't know what Vancouver looks like.
I just told you.
Oh yeah.
Aren't you listening, Brian?
Yeah.
The Leafs are finishing first. Everybody knows that.
I think that's pretty true. I think the Jets and Ottawa. Like I get they could like any team can have a good shortened abbreviated season, but I think they're the bottom. And then who knows, right? Like, to me, I could see Montreal finishing anywhere from 5th to 3rd. I don't think they're bringing in 2nd at all. I think Montreal kind of sits in that middle of the group for that division, 5th to 3rd, realistically. What about you guys?
Chalups, what do you think? Where are the Oilers finishing? 2nd, 3rd?
Riddle me this: who is the top Canadian team in the NHL standings last year?
That doesn't matter. That's last year. Nobody cares.
Ooh, that is last year. Same goalies, better additions. So I'm gonna go with first. I think Edmonton's gonna finish first, if not first, second in the North Division.
You think Edmonton's gonna finish 1st or 2nd? All right. I mean,
yeah.
It
we can all
is.
agree Ottawa's finishing last.
I think Winnipeg's gonna finish last. I think
I think
hate
Winnipeg's
Winnipeg.
gonna have a rough season.
I hate Winnipeg so much. I look at that team and nothing excites me. I look at that city. I look at that city and nothing excites me. I like Winnipeg's finishing last.
Shrivel up.
Like that place is the most depressing place on earth. And I've been to Auschwitz.
Oh my god. The carnivore strikes again.
Friends and family, I love you. What's going on?
I haven't been there, so I can't comment.
God.
But if you have been to Winnipeg, if you have been to both,
to not _just _BS on Instagram.
Oh, I have been. I wanna say if anyone has been to Winnipeg and Auschwitz, please comment on this YouTube video and let us know which was more depressing.
Like, are we talking about Auschwitz or Winnipeg in the winter or summer?
Here's how I see the division falling. Leafs.
Brian, when are we starting our comedy show? Like, come on, man.
Yeah, we'll get there.
As soon as COVID's done, we're doing a 2-man tour. First stop, Winnipeg.
And I'm just gonna rail on how shitty of a city.
And then Brandon, and then Flynn Flon.
My God, Brian's would be so happy. All right, I have the North finishing like this. I have Toronto, Vancouver, Edmonton, Calgary, Montreal, Winnipeg, and Ottawa shitters in last.
You really think Vancouver's going to finish second?
I do.
Interesting.
You know what? I think they're gonna be that young team that wants to prove a lot. I think the tender's gonna stand. I think we're gonna be okay in Vancouver. It's gonna be interesting though because that triangle of Edmonton, Vancouver, Calgary. It's kind of a toss up between all those teams, really.
I just want to point out earlier, Anthony said we could finish 3rd, and now he's dropped us to 5th.
I thought about it. I heard your insight. I don't know if it's going to happen.
Yeah, that young team with JT Miller, Tanner Pearson, Michael Furland, Braden Holtby, Tyler Myers, Alexander Edler, Nate Schmidt. Yeah, young team.
Very young.
You're going to get there. Come on, get to the young guys. It's easy when you start with the old guys.
Well, that's what I mean. That was my
all right.
point.
Is there any unrestricted free agents?
It's called parity.
Okay.
But yeah, my reasoning with Edmonton is one of the biggest things we've had in the last couple of years was the defensive core. Well, obviously goaltending is still the main issue right now, but here's hoping. But the defensive core and then offensive depth with like secondary scoring, because obviously we have 2 Hart and 2 Art Ross and 2 Ted Lindsay winners, and then we have a lot of complimentary guys now. So
And
I'm
no
thinking that
goaltending.
Edmonton. Well,
Yeah,
no
man.
goaltending. Koskinen wasn't too far off from 915 save percentage, which is pretty league average. And then Mike Smith had, again, 19 games where he was able to collect at least 1 point, where they finished first out of all the Canadian teams. So we'll see how that goes when everyone's healthy. And Connor McDavid is actually healthy to start the season. He's not battling his knee this time. So we'll see how it goes. It's going to be, honestly, man, like it could be crazy. There could be injuries galore to any one of these teams with how often they're going to be seeing each other. Just off the top of my head, for how the Canadian division's looking, I'm going to say Edmonton, Toronto. Fuck, this is a tricky one. Edmonton, Toronto, Winnipeg.
No!
Give it to Brian. He's ready to come.
Edmonton.
Just say it. Say it. Montreal.
Fucker said Winnipeg.
Edmonton.
He said Winnipeg third.
Edmonton, Toronto, Winnipeg,
Oh my
Montreal, Calgary, Vancouver, Ottawa. But again, the hot take could be that Ottawa finishes the playoffs. So we'll see how it goes. I'm just a Brewer, guys. I'm not a fucking professional.
Oh,
We can tell.
I would be very
All right, is
surprised
there
by that.
Any unrestricted free agent?
Any UFAs
Am I
left?
missing?
What UFAs are left?
It's in the back of my book.
I was checking
too.
out earlier. There are some names that still don't have contracts. I'm kind of blown away by.
NHL free agent
All right,
still
Mike Green
available.
still doesn't have a contract.
Mike Green retired, right?
Vatanen
Craig
just
Anderson
one
got
today.
picked up by Washington. Yeah, Mike Green's done. Corey Schneider's available. Carl Alsner.
Ron Hainsey still available.
Oh boy.
Hamnick just got his contract too, right?
That is one thing with Chara leaving Boston, or Boston walking away from Chara. I was very perplexed about that. It makes me wonder if Rask is out the door next.
I mean, I'm not going to call it a rebuild, but it's definitely retooling.
It's fucking Toronto getting more grit as a retool. Retool is such a fucking cop-out term.
Whatever you... Michael Del Zotto doesn't have a contract yet.
Nope. Jonathan Erickson.
I mean,
He
there's...
won a cup, didn't he? This is very exciting for people to listen to.
Yeah,
Kevin
absolutely.
Gravel, Andy
I'm
Green.
just saying, there are still some names. Didn't Andy Green get a contract? I thought he got one.
Oh, maybe he did.
Maybe. TJ Brennan didn't get one yet, hasn't gotten one yet. I mean, there's some guys. I was just curious that there's still some guys without contracts. Kind of mind-blowing,
Brandon
too.
Manning. Ooh.
Isn't what about here you go.
All
Here's
right,
here's the defender for you, Sammy Vatanen.
He just got one today.
No, he just signed. New
Today?
Yeah.
No shit. No shit.
We forgot to give you the notes, Brian. We forgot to give you the notes.
Oh,
I
wait,
gotta
might
click
have
on the
been
news for him. He went to return to the
Oh,
Devils.
Brian. Yannick Weber. Yannick Weber, Brian.
Ooh, that's exciting. That's exciting.
All right.
Yep.
Let's go into some bold predictions. We have the North.
Eric Hall just signed, yeah. Mark Letestu retired.
Bold predictions. All right, here's my
I
bold
think Toronto's
prediction.
gonna win the North.
Here's my bold prediction
Yep,
for the
go
year.
ahead.
Duncan Keith gets traded.
Who's winning? Ooh, not a bad idea. Seeing they are going through a rebuild.
Interesting.
I think if a team's
Okay.
going through a rebuild and you can find a way to
who'd you
make
say was gonna
salaries
win
work, do it. But yeah, go ahead, Anthony.
Brian, who'd you say was going to win the North?
Oh,
Who'd you say
I
was
said
gonna win the
I
North?
said Toronto. Sorry.
I want to keep these for end of season. Then we can issue something for the winner, I suppose.
All right, who wins?
Okay.
Trip to Winnipeg.
All right, who wins the Central Division? Would you like me to pull up the divisions and share
Oh,
my
God.
screen?
Let me look at my.
I can share my
I can look
screen.
at the screen. I got my own screen.
Did you say nice? If I could only read that.
Oh, hold on.
Who wins the Central?
The Central? The Central.
Ooh.
The Central.
Did you say Central?
Yeah. I think it's Tampa Bay. Look at
Yeah.
this division.
I would say Tampa Bay. I was going to say Tampa Bay. Or I'm going to say Carolina. Hurricanes look good, man. They look really good.
Yeah, then they have a really good locker room as well, which I think matters. What about you, Anthony? Who you picking? Who you picking for the Central?
Rod the Bod Brindamore, man. Just a Bay.
Wait, didn't you say Buffalo was going to run away with it?
That's not the Central division.
I don't know. It's got to be Tampa, right?
Yeah, it's got to be Tampa. All right, East Division. Who you guys got in the East?
I'm going to say Flyers.
Ooh, nice.
Obviously, you
Anthony?
can pick the same if you think I'm the smartest.
I think the Devils are going to surprise some people, but I'm going to say the Islanders.
The Devils are going to surprise some people and get more than 5 wins.
The Devils look so bad. They look so bad.
The Devils in Chicago are racing to the bottom right now. Like,
Oh, God. So bad.
I legit am so high on Buffalo as the team that's gonna finally overcome the stink of their city and the stink of that franchise overall. I think Buffalo and Eichel and Hall, as long as they're healthy, are going to be a force. They're not going to play much defense, but much like Edmonton, they're going to outscore a lot of teams. So I'm very high. I'm very high on Buffalo for that reason. Higher than most of these teams. Obviously, I really like the Islanders. Barry Trotz is my dream coach for Montreal. I think he's an amazing coach. I think he turns average defensive teams into stud defensive teams. They're goalie's wet dream. Barry Trotz would win a cup with Edmonton. With their current roster, Barry Trotz would win a cup. He'd turn that defense around. Just saying.
Okay, Brian, listen, not a wet dream, okay? Come on.
But yeah.
McDavid and Drysdale would not get more than 70 points each.
They have enough skill that they'd get 80 points. The West is where it gets interesting.
The not wet division.
Yeah.
No, not for me.
The Wets.
Vegas,
Oh my
baby.
God, that just looks so pathetic. Like there's 2 obvious good teams, 3 obvious good teams, and everyone else is shit.
Yeah. And I think I got Colorado winning this division personally. I think Colorado's a beast.
I agree.
Yeah, actually, that's a good call.
Yeah. Colorado or Blues, in my opinion. I think the Golden Knights are slowly imploding with how many moves they've been making, like trading Schmidt away, the rumors of Pacioretty being traded, Marc-Andre Fleury, like all that shit. Like it sounds like they're really tearing up the locker room. They're slowly dwindling, I think.
Yeah,
Okay,
I agree.
who
And we
is
did
your
the North.
pick for the winner? The winner of the scoring race, goal scoring race.
Ooh.
Goal scoring.
Goal scoring. Taylor Hall.
Oh wow.
Taylor Hall.
Wow.
I'm so high on him and Eichel together, man. Eichel has needed a scorer with him for the whole time he's been in the NHL. I think Taylor Hall's gonna fucking light it up. And for the record, there's a million podcasts where I hate on Taylor Hall so much. But if there's one thing Taylor Hall can do, it's put the puck in the back of the net when he has a good center next to him.
That's why I really like you, Brian, because I also hate Taylor Hall. Even when he was playing for Edmonton, I was never a fan. I always traded him in my video games. I got a lot for him too, a lot more than Adam Larson.
I agree. All right, Anthony, who you got?
I got Nathan McKinnon.
Nathan McKinnon. That's not a bad choice.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Where did he finish last year with goals? Did he hit 40?
I'm not sure off the top of my head. I just got a good feeling about him.
Fair enough.
Let's zoom out.
Let me
Dean
guess. Let me
heads.
guess, Chalupa. Let me guess. Draisaitl.
You know what? That actually probably would be a pretty good guess. And it probably could happen. Did he just finish behind Ovechkin or did he tie? No, he just finished behind him 2 years ago. No, it's going to be a tie between Chara and Ovechkin. No one's laughing. Oh, it's awful.
Sorry, I was pulling up
You just
the
be funny.
goals lists so you could see. It was
It's good.
it was very interesting.
Oh, you're too kind.
This
I
was-
just need to zoom into that shit.
Oh,
now.
hold on. I can enhance. Get rid of this ad. We're not advertising for this shit.
Enhance.
Get that
Enhance.
shit out of here. This is very
Oh,
unfortunate,
Lord.
Google.
Is that
This is-
MSN Messenger?
This is very unfortunate, Google. Please get your ad out of here. There's
Oh,
no
I
way
should
to
get
click this ad.
Mozilla
away.
Firefox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking Chrome.
Okay,
Um,
Chalupa, who do you have?
Yeah. Hopefully he starts healthy early. I could still see Pasternak getting it.
Ooh.
I mean,
Or maybe Line comes
fair.
back. Who knows?
that's a
And,
fair assessment.
You know, I'm going to say number 1, Pasternak. Number 2, Matthews.
All right.
I like that. All right, total points.
Who gets the most points? Here's the sorted by points for last year.
McDavid.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, by a lot. And that's if he's 100% healthy throughout the entire year.
McDavid.
He might hit. He might hit like 90 points in a shortened season.
McDavid with Eichel right behind him. Eichel's right behind him. That top line is ridiculous in Buffalo. Ridiculous.
Oh my God, who invited Pierre McGuire?
Back when he was playing junior, I knew his coach.
Okay, and the last, who do you guys think will
Ugliest
capture
actor.
the Vezina this year?
Oof.
Such a weird year. I mean,
Carter Hutton.
Goalies
No,
that
I'm
are-
just kidding.
Fucking Canada hat. Actually, that is a pretty good idea.
that isn't the worst. That was.
I would say probably Carter Hart or Vasilevsky. I don't think Hellebuck will get it in this division. I think he's gonna get shelled too much.
Let's go back and let's pick some different stats here. Let's look at some goalies. Whoops. I can't click on things. All right.
Brian, I'm just looking at the Buffalo roster. Hot take: Eichel gets slotted down to the second line.
Stahl
and
gets
Stahl
bumped up.
pushed to the- Yeah. The Hall stall.
Oh God. Oh God.
Oh, that'd be incredible.
Yeah, it's an
Reinhart.
interesting roster, right? Olofsson and Reinhart on the wing. They don't need to do much
Dylan
on those
Cousins could
wings.
jump up there, man.
Yeah,
Casey
they're gonna
Neistat
surprise
kinda
some people.
bumped back, but
It-
yeah. Dylan Cousins, like they got him slotted on my magazine, as the fourth line center, which is not going to be a thing. But yeah, he could be interesting. He could be very interesting. That is a unique roster.
Yes, it's a very unique roster, which can either just implode because people like Stahl will not get along with people like Hall, or or it can look really good. So wait, who was everyone's Vezina pick? Let's hear again.
I took Billington.
With St. Louis?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Interesting. And who'd you pick? Chalupa? Are you still thinking about it?
No. I'm pretty heavy on Vasilevsky. That just seems like the safe pick. But yeah, I'll go with Hart just to be a little bit more outside there.
Okay. Ooh, John Gibson looks good. John Gibson looks real good. Anaheim.
Yeah.
Man, my man picked Binnington. Damn.
The bottom seller Anaheim Ducks.
Yeah,
Get
my
the
man
Vezina
picked
winner.
Binnington.
Michael
Damn it.
Hutchinson.
Damn.
No Carey Price.
No Carey
Jake
Price.
Allen. Jake Allen.
Jake
Saves
Allen.
the day. Mike
I
Smith.
I am very, very intrigued by
Mark
Carter Hart as well. but I think Vasilevsky, realistically. I think he's just gonna play so many. He's gonna play like almost every game for them.
He's gonna play all the games. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hot take: Thatcher Demko. He takes over from Holtby and just fucking rockets. He has the same.
Holtby gets a career-ending groin injury.
The Turtles. He doesn't play the same since the Turtles didn't make it to Canada.
Hot take. Jonathan Quick.
Ooh.
The LA Kings coming back.
The rebuild's over. We're good to go.
All right, I'm stopping sharing.
Okay.
Oh man.
Gentlemen, is there anything else you want to wrap on the beginning of the 2021 NHL season?
No, not really. We kind of covered everything. Buffalo for the Stanley Cup.
Buffalo versus Dallas in the Stanley Cup final.
Yeah. No, man. No, not at all.
Hasek and fucking. Oh God, what's his fucking name? Can't remember. Who was the coach?
Lindy Ruff.
Lindy Ruff is just having a fucking spaz attack. We would have won. We would have no goal.
Fucking Brett Hall.
Oh man.
Fucking Brett Hall.
I see
Ryan.
no better way to end this podcast than fucking Brett Hall. Whoa, hold on a second.
We're fucking Brett Hall?
Whoa, did I say that out loud?
I see no better punishment to Brett Hall
Come on,
for
he
wanting to
knows what he
be
did.
an American
than fucking Brett Hall.
and blurry me.
With that being said, this is going to end HOCKEYTOWN. Oh my God. Brian, Aaron, thank you so much for doing this.
HOCKEYTOWN.
God, I love
Don't go to
HOCKEYTOWN.
Winnipeg.
No, Winnipeg's where you go to die.
It's worse than Wiener Peg in the winter.
Winnipeg's where you go to die. It's when you've given up. When you've given up.
We're done recording?
We're still
done
recording.
And